The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Sun Valley Fire Department, Idaho, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 37855. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting first on the face of the front bumper on the passenger side, you'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker. Moving over to the driver's side face of the front bumper, an air horn. Moving up onto the bumper extension, swivel discharge on the passenger side. D-handle gains you access into the first hose storage location. As we move toward the center, D-handle gain you access into the center hose storage location. We do have a cutout on the top of the lid for access for hose. Moving now up onto the cab outer edge, where you'll find your headlight structure housing a turn indicator, running light, and headlight. Just inside that location, you'll find 2 emergency warning lights with inside the grille near the Pierce logo. As we move just above the Freightliner logo, you'll find a handhold location for tilting the cab. As we move to the windshield, there are 2 windshield wipers across the one-piece windshield. And as we move to the outer edge on the A-pillar, you'll find a flat mirror in the upper portion and a convex mirror down in the lower portion. Moving up to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find 2 forward-facing floodlights on the passenger and driver side. Up onto the roof area, find your 5 identification clearance lights. And then moving further up onto the roof, you'll find your emergency warning light. Located with inside the emergency warning light in the center is where you'll find the Opticom. Let's move around now to the driver's side step area, where you'll find at the very base a step that does fold when come in contact with the ground. Moving up from that location, you'll find the silver cap, which is your ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. And then to the right, you'll find the blue cap, which is your DEF fill location. Moving further back to the crew cab steps, same thing, collapsible step. Moving up to the D handle gains access to battery storage. This is a lockable compartment. Moving further up to the yellow cover plate, this is your auto eject 20 amp shoreline inlet. Let's go ahead and go inside the cab now, where you'll find affixed to the door panel safety and warning placard information. As we move down to the yellow placard, this contains the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, and VIN number. Also on this placard, you'll find all of the components, component fluid capacities, and also fluid type. Moving up, you'll find manual window control and door lock and latch. Let's go ahead and move to the dash area, where you'll find this yellow placard. First, starting with the height of the vehicle, 10 feet 6 inches, length of the vehicle, 30 feet 0 inches, gross vehicle weight rating, 46,000 pounds. If you make any adjustments to this vehicle, please adjust this placard for your operator. Moving just inside the cab area at the floor near the base of the seat is where you'll find the master battery switch quarter turn. Just up from that location, when plugged into shoreline power, the battery voltage indicator will illuminate, indicating battery status. Also, seat control for the air ride seat, located just under the front section of the seat. The ignition is a keyed ignition. Let's move now to the dash area. First, starting on the right with the filter minder for your engine air filter. Moving down, you'll find the Allison transmission pad. This is a digital readout push button. Moving just to the right, this is where you'll find your AM/FM weather band radio. Moving just down and to the left, there is a cluster of switches here housing the all-wheel drive, low range, high range, diesel particulate filter, and interdifferential lock. Moving further to the right, you'll find your pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. This is the rear spring brake. Moving now just to the right into the silver area, you'll find the PTO engage, OK to pump indicator, high idle, door open, Moving further down, you'll find the mirror heat, and then just to the right, you'll find the Pierce seatbelt information, red indicating someone is in the seat and not belted, green indicating someone is in the seat and belted. Further down in the lower portion of the console, you'll find your heat, air conditioning, and defrost climate control. As we move to the panel in the lower section, you'll find your Opticom and also additional scene lights. Moving further to the right, you'll find 12-volt access via USB and barrel style. You will find these throughout the vehicle. These are red and white spare wiring indicators. They will provide the option number and also the termination. Please do not remove these until your maintenance staff has had a chance to review. As we move to the upper section, you'll find the emergency master roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, upper rear warning, and load manager. Moving further to the right, siren control module and PA speaker system. All the way to the very far right, there is a nylon lanyard for your air horn. You'll also find that do not move your apparatus when the light is flashing, indicating you may have a compartment door open or ajar. Moving to a rear view of the apparatus, you can see there are 2 seats on each side, right and left, and then an EMS compartment located in the center. Underneath the seat pedestals, you'll find additional storage. Lift and turn latch gains you access into those space. As we move to the exterior at the top, you'll find an LED water tank level indicator. Just below that, in the netting area, these are your 2 crosslays located in this area. Let's move further down on the pump panel where you'll have 4 controls located here for discharges. Just like to point out there are 2 discharges located here. These are 2 2.5-inch discharges. Moving up to the very top, warning placard indicating entanglement hazard. Because the line's coming from aloft, there's a possibility of entanglement. Also, pressure hazard warning, caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. As we move down, the red cap is going to be the large diameter pump inlet on the driver's side. Moving further down, you'll find the 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet locally controlled via ball valve. This is a female inlet, and all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains across the very bottom section. Let's move to the body. At the very top section, you'll find a cradle for your drafting hose. Moving further down, you'll find a side-facing scene light controlled from within inside the cab area. Also, there are 2 SCBA bottle storage locations, one in front and one in rear of the axle. At the very bottom in front of the axle, wheel chock storage location. Let's take a quick look at the pump panel on the inside with all compartment doors open on this side. Let's focus in on the first compartment nearest to the pump. At the left, you'll find, if properly engaged inside the cab, an OK to pump indicator. Moving to the downward section into the gray module, you'll find all of our switches for additional lighting control. And to the right, you'll find your pressure throttle governor. Moving on to the rear wall, you'll find a water level tank indicator. Moving further to the right, you'll find the master pump intake gauge and master pump discharge gauge located in the upper right-hand corner. Just below that, you'll find the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. These are currently plugged and are utilized for testing purposes. Across the very bottom section here, you're going to find our discharges located here. There are 3. Moving further to the right, you'll find a twist. This is the engine cooler. Moving further down on the pump panel, you'll find the tank to pump, tank fill, and recirculating line. Also, additional discharges located here. There are 2. Moving further down to the lower left, you'll find your fire pump primer. It is a push to prime air prime, at least 1,000 RPMs for best practices when drafting. Moving just back to the left side, I've got a close-up here of the switch panel and then also pressure throttle governor. Let's move toward the rear of the apparatus. We'll start at the very top section with 360-degree emergency warning lights. There are also 2 work lights located at the rear of the apparatus mounted up high near the hose bed. Moving further down, you'll find 3 steps for gaining access to go aloft. Moving further down, you'll find at the top brake, turn, and reverse light. Let's move around to the opposite side where you'll find an LED water tank level indicator. Moving just to the left of that location, you'll find a large diameter discharge. This is a 2.5-inch. Below that, direct tank fill, locally controlled via ball valve, female inlet. As we move down to the very bottom, adjustable shelves. As we move around to the passenger side, same configuration and layout. Let's go ahead and take a look with the compartments open, and we'll identify some items within this area. First, starting at the top with the side-facing scene light. As we move into the over wheel compartment, you'll find D-handle gains you access to the tool board. Once the tool board is open, it will lock into position. There is a release on the hinge side. 2 SCBA bottle location storage here, one in front, one in rear of the axle. Also, your exhaust is located on this side. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist. Please be cautious during regen operation. Moving now into the compartment, when plugged into Shoreline Power, these 2 outlets will become active, therefore allowing your battery charger, located here, to maintain battery status. Let's move forward to this location. At the very top, you'll find your booster line hose Captivate system. Moving further down, you'll find a LED water tank level indicator, and then also your cross lays located on the passenger side, protected within this netting space. As we move down into the pump panel area on the passenger side, let's start first with a warning placard indicating entanglement hazard. Because of those lines coming from aloft, there's the possibility of entanglement. There are 2 discharges located on this side, 2 2.5-inch discharges. Also, pressure hazard warning, caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. As we move down to the very bottom section, just to the right, you'll find the hose reel line switch. And then at the very bottom of the pump panel on the left, it's where you'll find your 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet, locally controlled via ball valve, female. To the right, the red cap is going to be your passenger side main pump inlet. And as we move to the very bottom section, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Moving around now to the passenger side step area, D-handle gains you access into this space for additional storage. It is a keyed lock storage box. Congratulations, Sun Valley Fire Department, Idaho, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 37855. If you have any questions regarding your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire Equipment sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.